do this. Thank you, Dan. You have been a great support in this entire process. And if you were not there without you, I think we would not have been able to do this kind of a massive onboarding, which we have done for students and faculty in Pakistan over the past few months. Uh, so, dear participants, STS School Data Sync is a tool which helps you automate the onboarding process. In very simpler words, जब डेटा कलेक्शन की एक्टिविटी हुई थी, सारे स्टूडेंट्स और टीचर्स का डेटा अक्रॉस द प्रोविंस लिया गया था, उसको सिस्टम में लाना और उस डेटा के अराउंड ऑटोमेटिकली क्लासेस को बनाना, क्लासेस के अंदर सब्जेक्ट्स के चैनल्स को बनाना, टीचर्स को क्लासेस का मॉडरेटर बनाना और स्टूडेंट्स को उसमें अटेंडी बनाना. These are those kind of things which STS does. It does much more, but to start off with, this is the basic onboarding functionality which SEF has provided, STS has provided to Sindh Education Foundation and School Education and Literacy Department. The idea of this presentation was to share with you that how this process happens, and in case we need to do onboarding for more users, or at the end of an year we need to refresh our profiles. So School Data Sync would be that tool. So I'm very thankful to Dan for his support to this initiative in Pakistan. Whenever we are stuck with any technical issues, and these technical issues are reported from the field, so my team goes to Dan. He is that kind of a first line of support for us, and his team at the back end, right from the US, they're helping us a lot to make sure this initiative is running smoothly. With that, let's move on to our next speaker, Rane Modle. Rane is the head for Digital Classroom Project across the region of Middle East and Africa. This is going to be a very interesting session where Rane would be covering in demos and scenarios around Microsoft Teams. And I would urge each and every one of you to kindly pay a close attention to this session. बिकॉज राने जो हैं वो ये डिस्कस कर रहे होंगे, सिनेरियोस का बता रहे होंगे जो आप अपने डेली लाइफ में यूज कर सकते हैं. सो फॉर एग्जांपल, Teams is not only about connecting with people and calling people and chatting with people. It is about doing some serious academic work as well. Teams के अंदर फॉर एग्जांपल क्लास नोटबुक है. सो वो क्लास नोटबुक क्या करती है? आप उसमें स्टूडेंट और टीचर्स की नोटबुक्स को किस तरह इंटीग्रेट कर सकते हैं? टीम्स के अंदर आप क्विज़ेस अपने किस तरह से ले सकते हैं? आप अपने असाइनमेंट्स किस तरह से पब्लिश कर सकते हैं? अगर आपने कोई डेटा गैदरिंग एक्टिविटी करनी है, कोई पोल या सर्वे करना है, तो आप फॉर्म्स किस तरह से बना सकते हैं? आप टास्क मैनेजमेंट किस तरह से कर सकते हैं? आप स्टूडेंट के साथ उसका फीडबैक किस तरह से ले सकते हैं? अपना फीडबैक स्टूडेंट्स के साथ किस तरह से शेयर कर सकते हैं? क्लास का कंटेंट, कोर्स, करिकुलम आप टीम्स में किस तरह से प्लेस कर सकते हैं? एंड मेनी मोर थिंग्स. So with that, I would hand the session over to Rane to share and present the live demo of Microsoft Teams. Rane, if you can please share. Okay, you already shared.
Yeah, sure.
So over to you, Rane.
Okay, thanks. Hi, everyone. I hope everyone is safe and well. My name is Rene Mudli, and I am the Modern Work Specialist at Microsoft Middle East and Africa. So thank you again, Gibran and the team, for putting this fantastic session together. I'd like to thank everyone that was involved in the presentation. And as we begin today's demonstration, I'm hoping that everyone's excited to learn more about Microsoft Teams. So Microsoft Teams is part of Office 365, and I believe my colleague already covered this during the week itself. But moving on quickly into the demonstration, how would everyone access the Microsoft Teams application? Well, it's quite simple. The first thing everyone would need to do is sign into the office.com portal. So you would open up a web page on your laptop and you sign into www.office.com, and then you would enter your credentials that's been provided by the institution. So once you've signed in, you'll be greeted with your landing page of Office 365. And all of your applications, as you can see, are on the left-hand side of the page itself. And the way to distinguish the Microsoft Teams application is that it's purple in color and it has a nice T on it itself. So if you had to click on Teams, it will actually open up the web browser of Microsoft Teams, and this would be your landing page. Now, what happens if you are on your mobile or a tablet or another type of device that you're not able to use the browser and you want to make sure that you use an application? You do have the ability to click on install Teams onto your local device, and make sure that once you've clicked on the install file, what will happen is that it'll um, allow you to sign in using your institution credentials again. Now, this is important because um, having an application will give you the best experience of Microsoft Teams. So there's nothing wrong with the browser. The browser is more than capable of running collaboration and communication, but it's always good to have the application on the local device itself. So make sure that you install it on your phone, on your tablet, on your laptop, on your desktop. You are able to install it across all different form factors and operating systems. So with that, we land on the Microsoft Teams desktop. And as you can see, the first thing you'll be notice is there's applications or icons on the left-hand side, and you have your grid view of what Microsoft Teams is all about. Now, what Dan spoke about earlier on was regarding school data sync, which will automate the creation of these different groups. So when as a teacher, you can go and create your own group, or you can already have a group already created on your behalf. So don't be nervous or scared when if you see some information that's already in your teams. You have the ability to work with this, or you can go and create your own team itself. So very quickly, how would you create a Microsoft team? You can see the layout is in a view that makes it a bit more friendly for educators and students to navigate through. So you have the ability to see that you have your teams here. You can move down, you can change your icons of it, but I want to add a new team now. So I will click on join or create a team. And once you click on join and create a team, you're introduced to a landing page. So I can create a team, or I can join a team with a code. So let's say the teacher wants to create a Microsoft team, but does not want to invite everybody, but maybe wants to hand out a unique code that will allow the students to join the team if he or she wants to do so. So you have the ability to join a team and also being able to create a team. So clicking on create team will give you 4 different type of templates. Now, the templates is to make it a lot easier from a management standpoint of how people get access to certain things and some people not. An example would be a class team would set it up as the teacher having higher permissions and having a bit more control of the classroom versus a student. So when you create a class team, what basically happens is that you as the educator will inherit permissions that won't allow the students to maybe mute the class, etc. And I'll walk you through all of those steps in a bit. So that's the hierarchy level. Then you have the professional learning community. As an example would be maybe the grade 4 maths teachers all want to collaborate together in terms of creating content and then being able to share that content with the other educators for grade 4 maths. So our professional learning community, educators are very professional. So there's no hierarchy in terms of, okay, muting the audience, and everyone's given equal permission behind this. As a staff, you have the school administration and development, where if you want to publish maybe important announcements, an example would be maybe there's a change to the HR leave application. So you want to make this announcement, you can create a staff team between all of the staff members or employees of the institution to receive that type of posted notification. And then we also have other type of teams, which is basically to allow everyone, if there's any extramural activities, it could be chess clubs or after school activities that you want just to create a team so everyone is aware of maybe date changes or a timetable publish of new activities happening in the week. So you can have the option for any one of these different 4 available. So if I had to click on class, I'm introduced to a few set of questions that will help in terms of creating the team a bit easier. So we can call this grade 4 math. And I can give it a description, right? So I can say this is a team only for grade 4 math. Okay, and I can say next. And I can add students and teachers to it. So I can add in Adele. And let's see, Rosie. You can add in Rosie. So now I have the ability to add both the students that I want, or I can obviously, grade 4 maths will have much more than 2 students. So I can import all of this information already using School Data Sync. But if the teacher wants to create a team by herself or himself, they have the ability to do so. And if you want a secondary teacher to maybe be part of it, you have the ability to add another, maybe we'll add the principal in case that might be a requirement to the team itself. So now I've got students as well as I've got a secondary teacher, and it's not mandatory. You can only have one teacher if you choose to, or you can have additional teachers behind it. I can say add, can add those two, and done, close. So now I've created a team, as simple as that. And you can see as I have my team, there's a few things that you'll notice. There's something that says general, and this is a general tab where the teacher and the students are able to interact generally in this team, in this channel itself. I have posts. So posts are the ability to add messages to the team. So hi, Adele. So if I say hi, Adele, Adele will get a notification saying the teacher has sent her a message. Okay, if I go here, you'll see in a few seconds, you'll see a notification pop up. So Adele's got a message that's already come through. And as a teacher, if I want to add a GIF, I can say hello. And I can say, and I can add a GIF to it, and I can send. So I have the ability to do different things in conversations. I can type in a text, I can add in a gift. There's also emoticons that they want to add. If you want to go and, make this as a post, so you can make sure that everyone can, pay attention to what's been said. So you can add a subject and say, pop quiz on Friday, as an example. And start a new conversation. You can say at Adele to better be prepared this week. Because she got good marks last week, so she better be prepared this week. And you can highlight it if you want. And then you can make this post. Great. So now the teacher is able to communicate with the students, and the student is able to communicate back to the teacher. We'll go back here. And we can definitely see that we have posts, and then we have some files that we can also attach. So in here, what the teacher can do is that if the teacher has created content already, that maybe you want to go and add in additional documents, the teacher is able to upload any additional work files into this area that they're able to work through. Class notebook. Think of it as your digital canvas or digital book that you're able to add in different folders, files, as well as different tabs within a digital workbook. And I'll show you an example of one in a bit. So in here, we have a collaboration space that the teacher can, edit the content, and the students are also able to edit the content. But then you can create a content library. As an educator, you want to make sure what you do is you are, building this content out that only the educator has an ability to edit the content and the student can only view, because sometimes you don't want the student going into your content and messing around behind it. And then there's a teacher only section. So before the teacher can even publish anything into these different areas, the teacher can create her own space that he or she is able to work on. And that's and that will allow them not to, the students not able to even view the content in that part. And then the student notebook is where the teacher can edit the content. The student can edit his or own work behind the content itself. So next. And it automatically gives you some ideas like handouts, class notebook, homework, and quizzes behind us. And I can say create. So while that's getting ready, let's move back quickly. We're able to see some other options behind this. And another one is called assignments. Now, as a teacher, you want to make sure that you're handing out assignments to the students. And that's, you're able to have abilities to, track the students, how they are progressing behind this. So I'm just going to go back to another team that I have. So we can go to algebra as an example. And in here, you can see that I have the assignments tab. And I've created a few assignments behind it. I've got drafts, I've got assigned, and I've got returned. Now, drafts is maybe something that I've started that I haven't completed as a teacher without sending to the students. Assigned means that I've already created an assignment and I've assigned it to the students, but you can see that 0 have returned them the information back. And I've got returned assignments to show that, okay, introduction to algebra, and all of the students have returned their assignments on time, which is great. So quickly, how to create an assignment. So you click on create, and I have the option to choose between both assignments and quizzes, or I can even import from maybe existing, I can import from maybe an existing template itself. So now quickly, I can go and create a quiz. And because Teams is part of the Office 365 solution, we have the ability to import from other applications within Office 365. So in this case, I will select the maths quiz that I've already created, that I used to create in Microsoft Forms, and say next. Great. So now I've imported my Microsoft quiz. I can give it a title. I can even give it a tag. So I can say an example, right? So if I want to search for something later on, I can search for it. Sorry. And I can also give it some points. So I can say it's 25 points, and I'll show you what that looks like in a bit. And then in algebra, I can assign it to the algebra class itself specifically, or I can say grade for B English, or I can choose which group or team that I'm the owner of to assign it to. And if I want, I don't have to assign it to all the students. I can maybe select a few students that I want to assign it to. So I can assign it to a few. Great. I can also specify the date and time that I want this to go out. So I can say that the due date is today is the 26th. I can say 27th is the due date at 11:59 p.m. I can also change this. I can go and say maybe I'll give them an extension for maybe the 30th, and I can go and specify the time slot itself. 9 p.m. is a bit late. Let's make it 9:30 a.m. What happens if I want to, as an educator, maybe prepare my assignments for the week for the students, but I don't want them to get it immediately. So I don't want them to get the assignment or notifications for the assignment today. Maybe it's something that I want them to get a notification in 2 weeks down the line. So what I can do is I can click on edit, and I can say schedule to assign in the future. And I can say the post date is when this notification will go out to the students. So maybe let's say Monday the 30th, and I can choose a time slot that I want this notification to go through. So we say 10 a.m. And we can say the due date is maybe November 30th as well. And at 10 a.m., the announcement will go out, and maybe they have an hour to complete it. And I can also allow for an extension of this assignment, meaning that maybe you set it as 11 a.m., but maybe we can give them an additional 30 minutes extension behind this. I can say 11:30. Great. So what I've done is I've set up an assignment that will only go out to the students on the 30th of November at 10 a.m. They have 1 hour to complete this. And if they're not able to complete this within the 1 hour, I've given a 30-minute extension for them to continue the assignment or submit the assignment. And I say next, done. So great, I've set up the times. I can go and change this to a general feed, or I can go and add this to another channel itself. And I can say schedule. Done. So that will go out on the 27th and will be posted to the students itself. Now, we also have further information, but before I come to that, I just wanted to take a look at this team on the left-hand side here. As you can see, we started off in the original team were general, but now you have the ability to see that you have additional channel information. So now you can see that we have an extra credit corner, homework help, subjects. I've got test and test 3 and test 2, and you can see that it's all locked. So what basically happens is that I'm able to add something called a channel. To add a channel, I can give this a name. So I can say, in this case, let's call this a test channel. And I can give it a description. And I can say privacy, it's standard to allow everyone on the team to have this, or I can make this as a private channel itself. And I can say next. So I can add selected members to the channel. Say add. And I can say done. So in the test channel, you can see that it's only a channel between the educator and the student. So as an educator, maybe you want to divvy up your class to work on a group project. So if you've got, let's say, 30 students per class, you want to create a team of 10, 10, 10. And you don't want, obviously, the students messing with each other's or mingling in each other's work. So you created a private channel for those 3 different teams, and then they are able to work as a collaboration on a single project jointly together on one team. So that will really help in terms of making sure that the students are not doing their own things. You as an educator can go obviously into those different private channels, and the students are not able to go and do anything. Non-assigned students are able to go into that channel and start messing around. So that's basically a quick walkthrough of a team. You can see, once again, this is our grade 4 maths. We have a post, we have a files, we have a class notebook, which is our digital OneNote. Waiting for this to load quickly. And what this looks like is, as I mentioned, we have different sections and pages within this digital notebook. So in here, you can see that we've introduced to the welcome with a nice breakdown of exactly explaining to everybody of what it is and how to use this. The collaboration space, like I mentioned, is a open area that educators and students are able to collaborate with each other. The content library is if the educator pushes content in there, the student can view it, but not able to edit it. So maybe you're working on a content, maybe for the entire grade, and you don't want students to mess around with it because you want to use this and repeat it in different classes. So you can put it into this collaboration space uh, if you want, or you can use it under the content library where students are able to go and view it, but not actually do anything in there. And then the teacher only mode is where you have the ability to now create content as a teacher and then being able to share this out at a later stage. And another nice thing is that, as you can see, is that Adele has her own section that the teacher has visibility on. So maybe class notes. So if you've passed, you created some notes that you want to share, you are able to distribute this to the class notes section of Adele's area. And if there's any homework, you are able to also share the homework itself. The same about handouts and quizzes behind this. Now, each student has their own specific area, as you can see. In this team, I've only assigned it to both Adele and Rosie. And in this case, each student has their own area and the students are not able to see each other's work. So this is the teacher has the full permission to view between the teacher and the students, but the students are not able to look in between each other's work. So we got to make sure that we are not setting the team up correctly and making sure that we're selecting it as a class team. So that's the class notebook behind it. If I click on assignments, like I showed you, that you have the assignments functionality, and then the last one is grades. So let me just go back quickly to algebra, and I'll show you what I mean by grades. So if I go to grades, this is an area that the educator has full view of all of the assignments of work that's been handed out and how this is being tallied up in terms of points. So the educator is now able to go and see that maybe this homework that you've been issued, if you use Microsoft Forms and you've added the automation of marks to it, all of the points will be represented here. So the educator now sees that Terry's been improving his results on the different type of work that I've handed out over a period of time. You can see that Terry has maybe some Terry has been able to achieve a bit more better marks, or you can see that maybe Terry is not exactly performing well, and then you can gather more information directly from the student as to why the performance is going down itself. So now the educator has one view of being able to, have a conversation with the class, give them files, give them work, assign assignments, and also have a view of how the student is progressing with in their subject itself. Now, going back quickly, I know most of you, if you're familiar with Microsoft Teams, you know that we have the ability to do a video call. So how does this all work? And I'll show that in a minute now. So this is the Microsoft Teams. We have the following icons on the left-hand side. We do have activity, which is a notification for any maybe information that I might have missed or might have got insights into. The chat is basically being able to have conversations with the students. And then also we have the Microsoft Teams assignments. And in here you have the Microsoft assignments itself, all of them that I've assigned. And I can also create one, or I can go into the team and then create an assignment. And then I have the calendar. So in here, as a teacher, maybe I want to set up a meeting on a weekly basis with the students in terms of having a conversation with them. So I can go create, there's three icons that you can see here. There's the Meet Now function where the educator is able to, create a a quick call. Switch off that, switch off the mic so there's no disturbance. You know that we have the ability to do a video call. So how does this all work? And I'll show that in a minute now. So this is the Microsoft Teams. We have the following icons on the left-hand side. We do have activity, which is a notification for any maybe information that I might have missed or might have got insights into. The chat is basically being able to have conversations with the students. And then also we have the Microsoft Teams assignments, and in here you have the Microsoft assignments itself, all of them that I've assigned. And I can also create one, or I can go into the team and then create an assignment. And then I have the calendar. So in here, as a teacher, maybe I want to set up a meeting on a weekly basis with the students in terms of having a conversation with them. So I can go create, there's three icons that you can see here. There's the Meet Now function where the educator is able to create a quick call. Switch off that, switch off the mic so there's no disturbance. I can, as a teacher, I can set up a quick meet now and say join. What basically happens is that it puts myself into a call and I'm able to invite students into that session. So if I go to Adele, I can click on Adele and then it'll start calling Adele into the call itself. So that's the meet now function. Or I can go to a new meeting. And what I have is now the ability to set up maybe a regular session with the students. And we can say in here, daily maths, period, right? I can invite attendance. I can say Adele. I can invite more people if I want to. And what basically happens is that it gives me the ability to see suggested timings that both myself and Adele are available. Now, obviously, the time slot is a bit late here. I mean, no one wants to have a conversation with a student at 8 o'clock at night. But it just depends on the availability within the calendar. That'll give you suggested time slots that the students are available, that you can have a good meeting. So in the case of Adele, we'll select 8 p.m. Because of the demonstration. I can say this is a repeat or non-repeat, and I can say this is going to be a daily activity, or in this case, let's say Monday to Friday. So I'll set this as a Monday to Friday session. I can invite a channel if I choose to, so I can go to maths. I can invite the general channel of maths. If I want to add a location or not, in this case, and I can say also give it more details beyond the meeting and say this is the meeting for sync on a daily basis. And great, now I can click send out. So what happens is that the student will get a notification. They will get a notification in Teams. They'll get a notification on Outlook as an email calendar invite. And they also be able to see it in their calendar itself. So in here, we can see that we have a meeting already with calendar as the educator color. I can click on join. What basically happens is joining the meeting, and then we'll wait for the students to come through. Now, just before we go to this, there's one important thing that we want to make sure of, and that is how do we set the permissions as the teacher? So as a teacher, you've set up the meeting. You can go into the meeting and you want to edit it, right? So we go here, we say edit the series. And we can see that there's a few tabs on top. There's chat, there's details, and scheduling assistant. Now, if chat is, being able to have a chat group, scheduling assistant gives you the ability to see when everyone's available. There's also meeting options that's here. Now, meeting options is very important, as this will allow you to control a bit more within the call itself. If I click on meeting options, it'll open up a portal which allows me as an educator to make sure I set up certain policies before anyone joins a call. So the first one is who can bypass the lobby. Now, I feel a bit more comfortable with saying only myself as the educator. And what that means is that students who join the call will get put into a lobby that they're not able to interact with each other if I've not allowed them to join the session. Why is this important is that maybe students might want to join the call a bit earlier, or I'm not in the call and I'm not able to make it at the time slot, or something's happened. You don't want the students to be naughty on the call itself. So I would suggest that you only make it yourself as an educator, and then once the students start joining the call, they're able to go into this lobby, and as the educator, you admit them into the call, right? So who can let the caller bypass the lobby? If you want to allow that, announce when callers leave or join. You can also put that on or off. If it becomes too distracting, then you can switch it off. Okay, and then who can present? Now this is also important. You don't